Hi. You caught me this week as I'm preparing a presentation that I'm going to give later on. And it got me to think, I should talk a little bit about the app that I've built to do this and some work that I want to do on it. The app, as you can see here, is called Slydes. It is a markdown file driven Fyne application for building and presenting slideshows. You can see here, I've been working on the slides for my presentation, building beyond the browser. And the content is just text over here, the markdown file, and some images. For example, tapping on this slide, you can see the content being rendered. And the layout algorithms are doing all of the hard work here. I can press play and run through a couple of slides, and you can see I just tap through each of the slides and they present to the audience. I'll escape out of that and come back to the editor. So it's a pretty cool way to get started. I heard many years ago that the best way to write a presentation is in plain text and don't touch the slide editor until you're nearly ready with the content. This I find is the right balance for me because I can write text almost all of the way through, and these 3 dash lines just mark the difference between one slide and another, so I'm always thinking about the content, but I'm seeing how it's going to present. Anyhow, as you saw, it presents the slides, nice quality. This is all vector graphics, of course. But I don't have any way to see what's coming next. It's just showing me the content. So I thought a presenter view would be something quite nice to have added to this program. And at the same time, I could introduce notes as well. So if there was items that I wanted to remember to present, I could include them as HTML comments or equivalent for the markdown file and have them rendered on screen as well. I'm not going to talk too much about the code today, but I wanted to use it as an opportunity to just load up Apptrix and do a little bit of layout so you can see how these things can come together. So I'll do just that. Open Apptrix. And we see the loading screen. I could use an AI assistant or some templates to get started, but I'm going to jump into the app that we have already. And here you can see the user interface. It's outlined because some of the code isn't connected together, but what I'm going to do is add a new screen that is the presenter display. So I'll tap Add New Window, I'll call it Presenter. And now we have a new blank window to start our work with. Into this space, I want to have two sides where one is the main view, it's what we're displaying right now, so I don't have to look at my secondary screen. And then on the other side, I want to do some preview of what's coming, the presenter notes, and a couple of buttons. So this container is already loaded, but I think really what I want is a split so that the user, the person presenting, could drag this around a little bit themselves rather than just a static arrangement. So I'll drag a split container into here, and because I want it to fill the whole space, the root container, the thing at the very bottom, I'll call it a stack. And so now we have the two sides. On this side, I'm going to add an image that is a preview for our slide presentation. That image, I have a file here that is just an image of a slide. That's great, however I want it to fit. So instead of stretching, I'll ask it to contain the slide. Okay, so there we go. We have our first slide over there. It could be a bit bigger though, so if I change the split offset to maybe 2/3, we'll see how that works. On the other side, I want to do a little bit more. Presenter notes in the next slide. I'll do another split, I think. Drag that one into there. This one wants to be vertical. And in here, I want another, oh no, the presenter notes, I think. So a multi-line entry. No, just, it's read-only, isn't it? So just a label, I think. Would presenter notes be editable? I don't think so. Put a label there, presenter notes. And at the bottom, the basic thing is the next slide. So let's get another image and we'll use the same file. I know they both say slide 1, but you can imagine. So we've got the basics. I wanted to put some control buttons in as well, so that would be a toolbar. There we go. And as you can see, that it tries to preview what you're dragging into the container when you put it there. Now we've got two things overlaying each other. They're both in a container, and the default container is just going to stack each of them on top of each other. I want the toolbar at the bottom, I think, so I'll make the border the main layout, and on the bottom I want this toolbar. So there we go, we have the slide up here and the toolbar down here. And let me just get rid of some of these default items from the toolbar. We don't want that. Probably do want the space or no help. I think I'll have a quit, but I don't want it to be right next to the right or next button. So I'll leave it with that spacer there, and we'll use one of the built-in icons. Let's just use log out for now. So we have our toolbar, the preview of the next slide. I think it would be helpful to have some labels as well though. So I will just add a label to this container. That would say, I guess, current slide. I'll make that bold. And I can't spell slide. Presenter notes is self-explanatory, I guess. Let's make that monospace for slightly more clear that it's our content. And in here, let's add another label as well for the next slide. We'll make that bold as well. And the slide is no longer centered in the space because next slide is overlaying on it. And actually I want it to be at the top, so I'll pick the next slide label. And now the slide is centered in the middle of that space. I think that's everything. No, we need a timer, don't we? So I'll pop that. I suppose that's another label for now. We'll call, just put a placeholder. Make that bold, I suppose, monospace, centered even. And that will want to have the same border treatment. So we'll set the container layout border and pick the timer as the top item. And I suppose I could see it'd be useful to have that text bigger. I don't have that feature in front of me right now, but we can do that in the code, because if I put here the timer as the ID of this, then I can reference that in code when we get round to wiring this into the application. So I can go right ahead and save that, Command S, and we're good to go. And if I was curious, I suppose I could see how that might look on my iPad. Pretty much as expected. Now the iPhone is going to be a bit more problematic because we don't have an appropriate layout. I should use an adaptive split here so that in portrait mode it's above, the main slide would be above all of the other content. But we can look at containers adapting to the device type in another presentation. Well, that was pretty straightforward. We've now built the presenter view for the slideshow app. I will tidy it up a little bit and pull it into the application, and it will be there in just a couple of days for you to see if you're interested. There's a little bit of work to do with the code, and I need to figure out how to juggle multiple windows so that one goes onto our external display and one stays on the current display, and that's something that needs a little bit of work done in Fyne. But it will be there in no time at all, I'm sure. Thanks so much everybody for watching once again. If you'd enjoyed this, please do consider visiting some of my other sites. My blog is at andy.xyz for things less video and more text. Of course, you can find my public archive at YouTube, but please consider Sponsoring me at maybe the sneaky peeker or above on Patreon, it means that I can put a bit more time into making these videos, and I can adapt the content so it's something that my sponsors are interested to see. And do check out Apptrix.ai. You can download and try for free the same platform that I was using for building this app. I hope you enjoy it too, and I'll see you in the next video.